students, today in this chapter metal non-metals of standard 10 chemistry. Today I am going to deal with the chemical properties of metals. Chemical properties of metals. In chemical properties of metals, I will be dealing with reaction with oxygen, reaction of metals with oxygen, then reaction of metals with water, then reaction with acids, and then reaction with solutions of other metal salts. Let us see the first topic, that is reaction of metals with oxygen. Reaction of metals with oxygen. See students, whenever we are dealing with the chemical properties of metals, we'll have to remember the metal activity series. Yes, we have studied metal activity series in chapter 1 also when we are dealing with displacement reaction. Here also you will always remember and recall that metal activity series, because the metals which are at the top of the metal activity series, what kind of metals they are? They are the most reactive metals. They react with oxygen or water under mild condition, and the reaction also sometimes becomes violent. While the metals which are in the middle of the reactivity series, their reaction tendency is comparatively less than the most reactive metals, and the metals which are at the bottom of the reactivity series, they are the least reactive metals. They generally do not react. They are the inert metals. They generally do not react. So, which are the metals at the top? Potassium and sodium. Potassium and sodium reacts with oxygen to give sodium oxide or potassium oxide at room temperature. So let us see what is happening. Sodium plus oxygen, it will give Na2. Balance it, you write here. Oh, it will be 4Na. So sodium reacts with oxygen at room temperature to form sodium oxide. Potassium will also react with oxygen at room temperature to form oxides. Okay. Now, a reasoning question is also asked from this part. What reasoning question is asked? Why sodium and potassium is kept in kerosene? It is kept in kerosene oil. Why it is kept? Because the reaction of sodium with oxygen or potassium with oxygen is very violent. So whenever you will keep it, you will not keep it in kerosene, then it will come in contact with the atmosphere and it will react violently, and that may cause harm to the persons in the lab. So it is kept in kerosene. So we'll have to remember the top most metals, the most reactive metals, the most electropositive metals, sodium, potassium. They react with oxygen at room temperature. Then what happens when magnesium? How do magnesium reacts with oxygen? Upon heating, if you will take magnesium ribbon, we have done that activity also previously. If you will burn magnesium ribbon, then magnesium reacts with oxygen and it gives magnesium oxide. So magnesium reacts with oxygen upon heating, gives with dazzling white light it burns and it gives magnesium oxide. But at room temperature, it do not react with oxygen. At room temperature, it's not reacting with oxygen, just like potassium and sodium, because it is not so reactive like sodium and potassium. It is comparatively less reactive than sodium and potassium. So, it reacts upon burning, it burns with dazzling white light and it forms magnesium oxide. Then, iron, aluminium, all these metals, iron reacts with oxygen upon prolonged heating. Upon heating, it reacts with oxygen and it forms a mixture of ferrous and ferric oxide. It is commonly known as ferroso-ferric oxide. Whenever iron is heated strongly, then it reacts with oxygen and it forms a mixture of ferrous oxide and ferric oxide, commonly known as ferroso-ferric oxide. See, here you take the concept that gradually the reactivity of metal is decreasing, so we'll have to provide more stronger condition to react with atoms of other elements. Again, aluminium also reacts with oxygen and it forms aluminum oxide, but the reaction is upon heating. Aluminum also, upon strong heating for a long time, it forms aluminum oxide. But this aluminum oxide makes a coating over aluminum, so it prevents further aluminum to react with oxygen. It is also a common question. A teacher may ask you that aluminum is a reactive metal, but still it is used in cooking utensils. So you will have to remember here that aluminum reacts with oxygen and forms a coating of aluminum oxide, and that prevents the other aluminum to react with oxygen. So due to this phenomenon, aluminum can be used as cooking utensils. But aluminum also, upon heating, it will react with oxygen. Just like sodium or potassium, it won't react at room temperature. Again, copper. Copper upon prolonged heating. Copper upon prolonged heating, it forms copper oxide. It forms copper oxide. Black color mass copper oxide is formed upon prolonged heating, because gradually we are coming to the bottom of the metal activity series. Then at last you have silver, gold, platinum. These metals are very least reactive metals, so they do not react with oxygen at all. They do not react with oxygen at all. Okay. Next, we'll discuss reaction with water. Next point is reaction of metals with water. Metals react with water. Yes, the most reactive metal, sodium or potassium, it reacts with cold water. Sodium or potassium reacts with cold water. What products it is giving? Sodium plus water. It gives NaOH plus H2 plus heat. Next, 2, 2. 4 hydrogen, 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen, 2 sodium, 2 sodium. Okay. Now you see, sodium is reacting with cold water. Yes, students, sodium and potassium are at the top of the metal activity series. KNaCAMgAl You remember this series, na? So, potassium and sodium are at the top of the metal activity series. So, it reacts with cold water to give corresponding hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Now, here when you will put these metals in water, sodium, if you put sodium in cold water, you will see that it catches fire. Then a question will arise, how it is catching fire? You know, when you are dropping a piece of sodium in water, then it is forming sodium hydroxide, hydrogen and heat is released. The heat evolved is sufficient to burn this hydrogen gas. This hydrogen gas is inflammable, highly inflammable gas. It is highly inflammable gas. So this hydrogen gas burns and we see fire in water. The reaction is highly exothermic reaction, lots of heat is released and this heat released is sufficient to burn this hydrogen gas. So when we put a piece of sodium or piece of potassium in cold water, it catches fire. Okay, it's clear to you that what is burning, what is causing fire? Hydrogen gas is burning. How the hydrogen gas is burning? Heat release, that heat released burns the hydrogen gas. Hydrogen is an inflammable gas, so it catches fire immediately. Okay? You will see this scenario for potassium also. But when you are taking calcium, when you are reacting calcium with water, what you will get? Calcium hydroxide plus hydrogen plus heat. 2H2O. Yes. Calcium, when you are dropping some calcium pieces in water, it is also giving calcium hydroxide plus hydrogen. But it do not catch fire. Why? Sometimes you may get confused that this reaction is endothermic or what? No, this is also an exothermic reaction. Here also heat is released. But the heat released is not sufficient to burn this hydrogen gas. So, it do not catch fire when you put a piece of calcium in water. Calcium reacts with water and it gives calcium hydroxide plus hydrogen. Okay. Now, if we talk about magnesium, magnesium do not react with cold water. Upon heating only it reacts with water. Means with boiling water it reacts. Hot water it reacts. Hot water it reacts. And what it gives? It gives magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen. So gradually when you are coming down in the metal activity series, similar case you are seeing as you have seen with oxygen. Here also the conditions are becoming more stronger. You will have to provide more stronger condition to react metal with water. Topmost reactive metals, they react with cold water. But gradually when you are coming to the middle of the series, they react. Magnesium is reacting with hot water. Then aluminum iron. How does it react with water? It do not react with cold water. It do not react with hot water also. It reacts with steam. Iron, aluminum, it reacts with steam. So may I rub this? I am rubbing this and I am writing this next reaction. Iron reacts with steam. And it gives oxide, mixture of ferrous and ferric oxide. Ferrous or ferric oxide Fe3O4 plus hydrogen. Then 3Fe, then 2H2, no, it will be 4H2, no? 4H2, then we need 8, 4H2, 4 oxygen. Well, okay, it is balanced. You see, when we react iron with water, it gives mixture of ferrous and ferric oxide, Fe3O4 plus hydrogen gas. Aluminum also similarly it reacts with water and it means steam. It reacts with also steam and it gives aluminum oxide plus hydrogen. Here 3 oxygen, here 1, 6, 3, so 2. So here also you see these two metals react with steam. And next metals like gold, silver, platinum, gold, platinum. These metals do not react with water at all. Upon treatment of these metals with hot water or steam, they do not react with them. Okay, so it's clear to you. Sodium and potassium is reacting with cold water. Magnesium is reacting with hot water. Aluminum and iron is reacting with steam. And silver, gold, platinum, these metals do not react with steam also. Okay. Next, we'll be dealing with the next reaction. The next reaction is reaction with acid. Reaction with acid. Metals which are above hydrogen in the metal activity series. In the metal activity series, hydrogen is also placed. Hydrogen, since it has also capacity of losing one electron, so along with the metals it is kept in metal activity series. And metals which are above hydrogen in the metal activity series, they generally react with acid like HCl, H2SO4 and forms corresponding salt plus hydrogen. So, if you are reacting magnesium with H2SO4, what will be the product? Product will be salt plus hydrogen. So, what will be the salt? Magnesium sulfate plus hydrogen. How can you detect that the gas evolved is hydrogen? Yes, hydrogen burns with pop sound and blue flame. So, if you bring a glowing splint near the test tube, then it will burn with pop sound. Okay? So, hydrogen gas also you can test. So, magnesium reacts with H2SO4 to give magnesium sulfate plus hydrogen. Then, zinc. Zinc plus HCl. What it will give? Zinc chloride. Salt of zinc. Zinc chloride plus hydrogen. Here you need to balance it, 2HCl. It is balanced. Now when you are talking about the acid, a question may arise in your mind that all mineral acids reacts with metal. Reactive metals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, zinc to give salt and hydrogen. Yes, definitely it reacts. But with HNO3, generally we do not get this hydrogen gas. Whenever we are reacting metal with HNO3, acid, nitric acid, we don't get hydrogen gas. Why we don't get hydrogen gas? Hydrogen gas is formed in this case also. Suppose you are treating magnesium with, suppose you are treating zinc with nitric acid. Then it will give zinc nitrate plus hydrogen. But hydrogen gas is not evolved. Why? A very important reasoning question is there. See, hydrogen gas is evolved, but the nitric acid present in the medium is a very strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes the hydrogen evolved to water. So, hydrogen gas is not evolved. Again I am explaining. You please listen to me. See what I am telling. With nitric acid also reactive metals react and give salt and hydrogen. But the nitric acid oxidizes hydrogen to water and itself get reduced to oxides of nitrogen. So we generally do not get hydrogen gas. Okay? But there are few metals which react with very dilute nitric acid to give corresponding nitrate plus hydrogen. It is also a very important question. Teacher may ask that name some metals which react with dilute nitric acid and evolve hydrogen gas. Manganese and magnesium. It reacts with dilute nitric acid and gives hydrogen gas. But in other cases, we are not getting hydrogen gas. Why we are not getting? Because in the reaction medium, nitric acid is there. This nitric acid oxidizes hydrogen to water, so we do not get hydrogen gas. So it's clear. So I think now this point is clear. Reaction of metals with acids. How do the metals react with acids? Okay. Now our next topic is very interesting one, and we have studied this in our first chapter also. What is that? Reaction of metals. Reaction of metals with solutions of other metals. How does metal react with the solutions of other metals? Here we have studied in displacement reaction, and that concept is only used here. Whenever we are taking some metal salt solution, and if you are reacting with a metal which is above it in the metal activity series, then what happens? The more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal from its salt solution and takes its place. This reaction is known as displacement reaction. Yes, students, Here also I am going to discuss the same thing. See, if you are taking zinc and if you are adding it to copper sulfate solution, you have taken zinc granules, you are adding it to copper sulfate solution. What is the color of copper sulfate? I think all the students of standard 10 knows the color of copper sulfate. What? That is blue. Now if you will add zinc to copper sulfate, what you will observe that the color changes from blue to colorless and a precipitate of copper will be formed. Color changes from blue to colorless and precipitate of copper is formed. Again, if you are taking iron and if you are adding some iron powder to copper sulfate solution, what changes you will observe? The blue color of the solution will change to green color. Why it is changing to green color? Because iron is displacing copper and forming ferrous sulfate plus copper. So a brownish black precipitate also you will find, and that is of copper. Here also zinc is displacing copper from copper sulfate solution. Next example, if you are taking zinc and if you are reacting with ferrous sulfate, what will happen? Ferrous sulfate is having green color. What changes you will observe? Here zinc will displace iron from ferrous sulfate. So you will get zinc sulfate plus iron. So the color of the solution will change to colorless one, since zinc has displaced iron from ferrous sulfate. But if you will think that if you will add copper to zinc sulfate, will there be any reaction? No. Why? Because copper is less reactive than zinc. So copper cannot displace zinc from zinc sulfate. So there is no chance of displacement. So there will be no reaction. Okay. So you try to study the properties of metals, the chemical properties of metals, and whenever you are studying, do write the reactions. You do write the equations for these reactions. It will make you more confident. Okay. Next day we'll start ionic compound.